Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vince.
With or without amnesia, a dog shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car.
We've got Chris.
How could you be so heartless? How could you be so Dr. Evil?
And I'm Kia. Hi, welcome to the show. Today we are reading a book about dogs. Kind of. It's not really. It's a Nightwing book. The Eisner Awards just happened, and Nightwing by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo won Best Ongoing Series. So we thought, hey, maybe this thing's pretty good. So we thought we'd jump back into the beginning of when they took over their run. Just like a year ago, 2 years ago?
2021, thereabouts.
Yeah. With Nightwing number 78. We're reading the first 6 issues. It's collected in Leaping into the Light, Volume 1. Of Nightwing, 78 through 83. And then, of course, it's a big Batman-heavy episode, although Batman's not really it. We're continuing our Knightfall long read. We're getting real close to the end. We're on Chapter 18, Detective Comics 666, a very satanic issue. So stay tuned for that if you love Satan. And, let's jump into Nightwing here. Issue 78, new creative team coming on board. I had no idea what I was getting into here. Is there do we need to give any sort of preamble here? Nightwing is the first Robin, Tim Drake, who graduated, became Nightwing. Dick Grayson. Shit, Dick Grayson. My first notes are wrong. Damn it. There's their names are too similar. Dick Grayson, Tim Drake. I feel like they did it on purpose and it was a bad idea. It's like when
kids. How are they that similar?
They have a similar flow to me. I get them mixed up constantly.
Single name and then an A sound, like a Ray sound. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
That's it.
And they look the same. Like when we read Knightfall, I get frequently confused that that's not Tim Drake, or that is Tim Drake, because I think
it is Tim Drake.
It is Tim Drake. All right, but this is Dick Grayson. Let me update everywhere in my notes where I wrote Tim, except later when Tim shows up.
And they don't really look the same because Tim. I mean, the only thing that confuses it is the animated series where they give Dick Grayson the ninja outfit. Because otherwise, if you see a ninja outfit, it's not Dick Grayson.
Fair.
If it's a ninja, it's not a dick. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But it's these. I've got so many parents I've met who've named their kids similar names, and it's just making it difficult for yourself. Like, don't name your 2 Robins Dick and Drake. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Dick and Drake.
Right. Dick and Drake. So this is a little flashback scene where Dick Grayson is getting bullied by some pharma kid, and Barbara Gordon runs up to help him. And this is maybe their first time meeting ever, or maybe they've just kind of seen each other in school or something. And a little fight breaks out, but the cops drive up. But it's her dad, Detective Gordon, who drives Dick Grayson home to the big mansion where he lives. And it's kind of their first time meeting. Very nice.
Alfred has very black hair in this flashback.
Alfred has
so
very
you know
black
it was a
hair.
long time ago.
Yeah. And Dick is just like doing the dishes, and Alfred's like, it's my job, right? But Dick's like, I'm never really going to be comfortable with that. But Alfred, is very much kind of a father figure to him a little bit here, and says, "Hey, you stepped up to be a hero, even when you're not wearing your mask. That's great."
Bruce could learn from that a little. I like this touch that Alfred has a different relationship with Dick than he does with, which I feel like even in Batman Forever he did. Like he helped Robin in a way that like Bruce never did. Alfred's kind of like this weird little intermediary between them.
Yeah. Batman really shouldn't be a father to Dick Grayson because he's only supposed to be like 30, which is weird in and of itself. But he's not supposed to be like this parental figure. So Alfred being like this surrogate father makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see more of that relationship a little bit later here. But then we jump back into the present. Nightwing is currently living in Bloodhaven. Which is a city that sucks and is super corrupt. And
I don't know what its like analog is. I always think of it as like a vampire town in the DC universe, just because the way it's spelled, like with blood with like the umlaut over the U.
It's supposed to be like Jersey City or someplace in New Jersey. Like it's supposed to be close to Gotham, but in like an adjacent area.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and the mafia is like very entrenched there.
Oh, okay.
It's like, we'll talk about it later as it comes up, but I love how blatantly corrupt they are, like overtly corrupt. It's perfect.
But Chris Christie appears.
He's some Nightwing's out on the town doing regular crime stopping stuff, and he runs into some college kids kicking a dog on the roof. What? And like one of them is going to shoot this dog with a gun? What is this? I feel like, do people do this?
I just played Ghost Trick, and they absolutely will shoot a dog in the face in that video game too. So it's people shooting dogs with guns month, I guess, in my world.
So I'm not a fan of it.
Luckily, like in Ghost Trick, our hero saves the day.
Yeah. The puppy kind of bites his hand as he's trying to save him.
Well, I like that he's like, the puppy's damaged, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I get it. I can't save some people are going to be a little still scared of me. That's okay. I'll help. And so he takes the puppy to the vet, and he goes and gets some shots for himself because he's like, he doesn't know if he has rabies. Good job, Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Good job, Dick. Swings away, takes care of all that. Meanwhile, we see some of the corrupt folks in the city. The kind of big bad here is Blockbuster. I've never read anything with Blockbuster before.
Yeah, he looks like Kingpin.
He looks like Kingpin. For a second, Kingpin. I thought it was Kingpin for a second when he first showed up. I was like, "Oh, is Kingpin the villain in this? That's cool." And then I realized it's my mistake.
Kingpin wearing like a Jean-Claude Van Damme like ponytail wig.
Yes. But he's talking to Commissioner McLean. He's talking to the mayor, and he's talking to the council president. And he's got spreadsheets out. He's got everything.
He printed out spreadsheets, which then made me think: did spreadsheets pre Excel exist as like just cells on a piece of paper, like graph paper? And I go, probably, but I didn't think that far. But that's
you mean before?
I'm sure they did.
No, like
just printed it.
Oh, why would you print a spreadsheet like that? That's stupid. That's not a good layout to print out.
Because I'm more confused. Why would you print out a spreadsheet when you know you're about to kill this guy? Like, what were you showing him?
Also, you're a criminal. This is like, I'd like to print out my, I saved it as crime.txt, so.
You probably saved it as a CSV file, not even an XLSX, but.
That's part of what I love about this book, that they are just so like, we'll just meet out in public. Here's all my crime documents. And so this Blockbuster guy is a big guy, very Kingpin-esque, like we said. He grabs the mayor's head and just straight up crushes it in one hand and kills him. And that's it. He's dead. And he's like, congratulations to the council president. You're the mayor now. And we learn that this council president is Melinda Zuko, the daughter of Tony Zuko, who is the guy who killed Nightwing's parents. Oh my goodness.
Tony Zuko, friend of the show from Batman and Robin, the Boy
He's
Wonder.
no friend of mine. No friend of mine, this Tony.
And
Zuko.
Also probably Dark Victory, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, he was in at least one of either Long Halloween or the other one.
So Nightwing heads home to his...
very fat, as I recall.
Yes. Nightwing heads home to his apartment. He's got the dog taken care of. He's gotten his shots. He owns this whole block with Bruce Wayne money. But someone's in his apartment. He heads in. It's Barbara Gordon, his old friend. Who is walking now. She's Oracle, who's been in the wheelchair for the longest time, but we kind of learn a little later she's using some... I was
going to say she's been Batgirl for 50 issues, but she's taking a break from being Batgirl. Her book just got canceled.
This is... Okay, so in continuity, the New 52 brought her back as Batgirl. That was 2011. And then DC had another relaunch called Rebirth, where everything started over with another number ones. And that was this in 2016. So here we are, like 70 issues into the second Nightwing relaunch in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and Batgirl went 50 issues on that relaunch, and then it was canceled as part of... You don't have to know any of this.
Yeah, none of that's important.
She's not in a wheelchair anymore. She's
not in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But basically, she had technology in her spine that made her Batgirl again, and Joker used it to compromise her, so it's not working as well or something like that. So she's taking a break from being Batgirl.
Okay.
She might as well be in a wheelchair in this book. She doesn't do a lot. I think it just made it easier to kind of write around it. She's very much.
She can't have sex with Dick Grayson in a wheelchair. Come on.
That didn't happen in this book.
Not in the pages of this book.
All right, fair enough. So Barbara Gordon points out...
flipping through it. I didn't see any.
I didn't see it. Am I missing a page?
I felt like this issue ended really quickly and abruptly.
A little bit. So Barbara points out all his security flaws that she was able to break in. She gets a little distracted by the dog, cute dog. Dick's like, I'm getting rid of it, and she's like, it's in your apartment now. You're not getting rid of the dog. And she's there because she is the executor of Alfred Pennyworth's will. Alfred is dead? What?
I don't
Is that
remember
another
how
New
Alfred
52
died.
thing?
No,
Oh,
this is a
no.
rebirth thing.
Yeah,
There
I'm
was
going
a
to
point.
assume that Joker killed him.
There was a story where I stopped reading Scott Snyder's Batman, and I really liked that when Alfred tried to kill Bruce Wayne for ransom money, or like Joker put like $1 billion hit out on Bruce Wayne or Batman, and Alfred took the deal to take a hit on Batman, and I was like, this is bullshit. I'm done. I don't know where that was in continuity. That was just All-Star Batman. So I don't know if that's how Alfred died. I don't know.
It says Bane killed Alfred during the City of Bane storyline. So there you have it.
Wow. Potential
City of Bane.
spoiler for our next for our long read here. Are we going to go that far in the City of Bane? Alfred is dead. Apparently, he was also a billionaire. I feel like that was a retcon that happened at some point where he's just a billionaire who liked taking care of people.
He has no rent or mortgage, and he gets paid somehow by the Waynes. I think he also got paid in Wayne stock, is what they said. So yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll allow that he's at least a multi-millionaire. I don't know about billionaire.
Isn't Wayne's stock a Wayne's World thing?
It is.
All right. So Alfred has left all of his money to Dick Grayson. And he's like, all right, what am I going to do with this? Melinda Zuko, meanwhile, new mayor, she heads home. She is talking to, is this her bodyguard? She's like this black woman, bald, who's like hanging out in her apartment all the time. First I was like, is that her partner? Then I was like, no, it's like a bodyguard or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And her bodyguard's like, are you ready for Nightwing? And she's got a poster of the Flying Graces with Dick Grayson's picture circled. Oh boy. She's going to be continuing her father's work, it looks like here.
The epic rivalry between the Graysons and the Zukos.
Yeah, mobsters versus circus acrobats. Classic war.
Is Stan Lee writing this?
So on to part 2 in issue 79. Barbara and Dick. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, so first off, as like a first issue, I thought it ended really quickly. I was like, oh, this is it. It puts a lot of pieces into place. Like we've got a Zuko as a mayor. We've got Dick Grayson with a lot of money. We've got him thinking, showing how he's different than Bruce Wayne and that he's more helpful without a mask. He wants to use his money in a different way. He's still got a relationship with Barbara. I think it's a pretty good light first issue that sets the vibes, but then nothing plot wise happens. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty good relaunch.
Yeah, I think so too. It got me into it. I definitely was just like, cool, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also don't know if we didn't really talk about the creative team. I don't know much about Tom Taylor except he's always nominated. I get him confused with Tom King, who's also a big DC writer right now. But he gets nominated a lot for best writer stuff. I know he wrote the Injustice comic, which was a weekly comic for the Mortal Kombat Injustice, Justice League video game 10 years ago. That was really, really good. So Tom Taylor, spoiler alert, might be a good writer to check out in the DC world.
Maybe we should read Injustice eventually.
That one is breezy, it was written digitally. I think that might be a good long read. It's 52 super breezy issues we could read, for a long read or something, or just in general. It's pretty good. It gets you all the characters. Tom Taylor, he does an okay job with some a classic feeling thing. This feels we're saving puppies from mobsters. It feels kind of a little old timey. I'm kind of digging it. So.
And he also Bruno Redondo, not Bruce Redondo, Bruno Redondo, and he worked together on Suicide Squad immediately before this. I think it was only 12 issues, but in 2019 or 2020 they had just had a really good run before the good Suicide Squad movie came out. So yeah, this is the same creative team that has just worked together on another project.
Okay. So, yeah, and they look like they did Injustice together too. So at some point.
There's definitely a few bits of Bruno Redondo. I overall love Bruno Redondo's art in this. There's a few bits I'll point out specifically, but throughout the whole thing, I just especially love Dick Grayson's hair. I think that his hair is drawn so wonderfully.
He's very handsome.
Everything. Yeah.
Because the first page of this issue too is this Dick jumping out of a window, but it's him in the Robin costume, then him in the first Nightwing costume from the Teen Titans era, the 80s Teen Titans. And then the red kind of thing from the Batman and Robin movie, and then the modern blue.
Yeah, all the covers on this series are so good.
Yeah, really, I just love the art throughout all of it. Yeah. Yeah, let's jump into issue 2 here. We've got Barbara and Dick are feeding the dog, and the dog goes to sleep. So they head out and do their superhero adventure stuff. No, not really. Dick takes Barbara to see the statue in the center of the town. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a dude on a boat who's being lifted up by like a kraken tentacle, and he's trying to like spear it.
It's a whaling town, is what we've learned.
There we go. And that's what we've learned. It's a whaling town, and yeah, it represents their perseverance to defeating monsters in this town. Then a homeless father and son walk up and ask for some spare change, and Nightwing's like, "Nah, sorry, I don't really keep cash on me." But he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm rich."
Goddamn minute.
Yeah. And he's like, "I'm buying y'all some pizza. Bring over as many people as you can. I'm buying y'all all pizza." And then
I do like the moment before that where he's like, "Come on, Barbara, let's go out." And his idea is just to go out and get 2 slices of pizza. And she's like, "Really, Dick? You're a billionaire now." And he's like, "You're right. 4 slices."
4 slices. That was a good bit.
Like, that's living large.
Mm-hmm. But he buys pizza for everybody.
And Marvin George's pizza for Marv Wolfman and George Perez.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Who I guess created Nightwing?
The Teen Titans creators that I guess did that version of the character.
Okay.
But Nightwing decides he's going to put up this family, this father and son that he met in a room at the Four Seasons for a month. And he like calls and gets them the room there. Later, after everyone's like taking pizza and stuff, he realizes some kids stole his wallet. And he's like, "Oh, damn it!" And Barbara puts it in the group chat with the whole rest of the Bat family, and they're all laughing at him.
I do love that there's a group chat.
Yeah,
like,
of course
everybody, of course there is. They're just like sharing memes and jokes and stuff. Like, that's very funny to me.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that though. I feel like Bruce wouldn't have a group chat. At least one of the other, maybe Damien or someone, definitely wouldn't have an iPhone. So
I think it's probably like they're the member of the group chat that doesn't reply or maybe even look at the messages. Like, or we keep him on here so like he's like aware of stuff, but like he's never gonna respond to anything. Like, it's probably just like Dick, Tim, and Babs like texting constantly, and then like Jason
exactly.
and Bruce are kind of like.
I love Jason Todd's text later. We'll talk about it. But so this father and son are now kind of walking away. They're heading towards the hotel, and a mugger approaches them. And the dad's like, "Hey, kid, go back to the pizza shop. Stay there." And this is not any regular old mugger. He's got like some kind of weird sci-fi gun. He's got a mask on. He punches a hole in the dad's chest and takes his heart. Yikes. Meanwhile,
this is Ansem, of course. He's going to open Kingdom Hearts.
God, no, don't. I thought I was serious for a second. I was like, did you reveal who this guy is? Like, no, God damn it. Don't bring Kingdom Hearts into this. This story makes sense. Maybe.
No, Mickey Mouse is going to be
no, please do not add in DC into Kingdom Hearts. It's already like convoluted enough and like not giving me what I want.
It wouldn't. No, Marvel and
Disney.
It's true. That's how it would go. They're not going to put DC in Kingdom.
Well,
they could put Space Jam in Nightwing, but they couldn't put Kingdom Hearts.
That would be the ultimate fuckery of Kingdom Hearts, is if they did put in DC but not Marvel into that.
Oh.
Hold on though. Why has there never been a Space Jam Nightwing crossover? That would be something. All right,
that'll be the first.
I'm sure there's a Bugs Bunny meets fucking Nightwing.
Batman.
Let's do that for the show. Bugs Bunny meets Nightwing. All right, let's keep.
Say Batman. I could see. I don't know about Nightwing.
Mm-hmm. John, I had one of those. It was like a McDonald's toy or something. It was Bat Duck. It was Daffy Duck, and he had turned into Bat. Anyway,
there is definitely a Duck Dodgers of the 23rd Century episode where he joins the Green Lantern Corps. That's really fun.
That's good. That's good stuff.
All right, so Dick Grayson is going to track his wallet down. He has like a little tracker in there. Barbara can't come because her spine is still not perfect. She's like, I really shouldn't risk the technology that's holding up my spine. Which I have a different opinion of this now that I know she's been gallivanting as Batgirl for 50 issues and decided she's not going to help track down a wallet because it's not good for her spine. But Dick Grayson is wearing like some special kind of mask where she can see through his eyes. She's got like a monitor. She's really just being Oracle throughout this whole thing. But Dick tracks his wallet to a location, and he's on a roof kind of trying to figure out exactly where it is. And he sees Boss Maroney there. He's the second most powerful mob boss in the city other than Blockbuster. And he is meeting with Melinda Zuko, who Dick doesn't recognize at the time. He's just like, who's that? And he sees the kids who took his wallet. They're kind of walking by, and he's like, okay, there it is. These kids are going to, like, take Maroney's stuff off his table. Is it like his wallet or his phone or something sitting on the table? And they're, like, deciding that as they walk by, they're just going to, like, pocket it and keep walking. Terrible idea, kids. You're going to get fucking wrecked by these mobsters. And the guards instantly go into action. So Nightwing jumps in, beats up some goons. The kids run off, so he runs off after them pretty immediately. Oracle calls the cops, and Dick's like, don't even bother. Nothing's going to happen in this city. It's futile. But Dick follows the kids back to a youth homeless encampment. And they're all a little bit scared of him. They say, are you the man without a heart? And Dick's like, no, I have a heart. Yeah, y'all need the money more than I do. I'm out of here. But like, at least get your credit cards back, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you don't want to have to replace all those.
I'm even okay with the credit card. It's the ID. I just do not want to go back down to the
more trouble than it's worth. Yeah.
Yeah, just be like, here, you can keep the cash. Just give me the cards and everything. You don't want that stuff.
Yeah,
it's probably already shut down. Like,
yeah, it's gonna get flagged for fraud when you're like, hey, did you spend $500 on candy?
No, they'd know that was me. They would think that was me.
So he heads back to the apartment, hanging out with Barbara, and he's like, I know what I got to do with the money. I got to become a safety net for the people of the city, and he's kind of decided he wants to do something good with that money.
Yeah, he's seen all the threads on Twitter that come out every like couple of years. It's like, how come Bruce Wayne doesn't do anything to help Gotham?
Stepping right into,
as George Lopez says in the Blue Beetle movie, Batman's a fascist.
Yeah. Also, like literally, Bruce Wayne does everything in all of these comics and the TV shows and everything to help. But they're like, he shouldn't be punching murder clowns in the face. He should be funding mental health services. Like, yeah, I agree. It's also a comic book. They have to fight villains every month. So
that's how it goes. Blue Beetle movie? I forgot that existed.
I think it comes out Friday.
Coming out soon.
All right. Maybe we'll do some Blue Beetle again soon. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah, we did the Steve Ditko version.
This is the new one. It's Jaime, who's been around for 17 years, but Jaime Reyes. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not what we're doing next episode.
Nope, it's not. We're just talking. We're just shooting. All right, part 3, issue 80. Dick gets woken up by the dog barking because the cops are at the door. They're there because they're like, hey, you reported your credit card stolen, and right before you booked a room for a Martin Holt at the Four Seasons. And Dick's like, oh, yeah, that was a legitimate charge before my card got stolen.
Yeah, so I feel like Dick's card might not get flagged for fraud for a while because he literally just bought like a shit ton of pizza.
Yeah,
he spent like $1,000 on pizza. No, that's me. And
he really could have just said, yeah, like you just bought a ton of pizza and then your card got stolen. That's like the type of thing you would report.
Yeah, instead of streaming services, Dick Grayson just has like stolen cards where people are just living on his largesse.
But it turns out Martin Holt never checked in because he was found murdered, and he's like, oh my god, is his kid okay? And they're like, we didn't even know he had a kid. You know a lot more about this guy than we do.
We are not good cops, but also that's super sus.
Yeah. So he calls Barbara because he's being accused of murder. She's his only alibi, and asks her to come back and talk to them. And they're both good. They both have law degrees. And they mention that, and they're talking to the cops, being like, you really got no evidence. And so they essentially tell him to fuck off. And the cops do.
It's a good two-shot panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, why would he? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yep. So then they go out exploring. They're kind of following up on the kids, asking about the man without a heart, because this whole thing with like he was found like with his heart removed is kind of like, all right, makes Dick Grayson kind of think about what the kid said. He meets Tim Drake on the roof, the current Robin at this time. He's
no.
Why? Yeah, who is he
Because
right
Damian
now? What's going on?
Damian Wayne is Robin at this point. There was a Red Robin comic, but Lord knows when that was. Sometime in the last 10 years. That Tim Drake was Red Robin. I don't know why he's in a Robin costume because I don't think he has his own ongoing at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's not Batman's Robin, I don't think, at this time.
He's just Robin. He's just his own Robin, hanging out doing his own Robin things.
But either way, I love that he's like, all right, well, you look young. How about you go undercover and talk to the youths?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a good plan. I do like that he also gives Dick a wallet chain so that the kids can't steal his wallet. And he's like, I'm never going to live this thing down, am I? And they're like, go take this dog with you because you'll be more lovable that way. And he poses as a youth going to the homeless encampment. He appears to be very chummy with Elliot very quickly. He's like, hey, Elliot, man, you sure you're okay? I'm like, all right, okay, cool. And the kid's sad, but he does want to stay there. And apparently a lot of the kids have the same story where their parents were killed by a man without a heart. And so Dick tells Tim, Dick is like up on the roof watching all this. He says to Tim, like, hey, give this dog to Elliot. Which, again, what? You're just going to give the dog? Like, this is a stranger who has walked into this encampment with a dog and says, hey, I got to run real quick. Watch my dog. But he says, suit up, because Brutal and the Electrocutioner are there. A couple of villains who work for Blockbuster. I don't really know either of these people, but Brutal seems to use a lot of knives, and Electrocutioner seems to use a lot of electricity.
Electrocutioner was in Arkham Origins. He was in one of the Arkham games as like a sort of a fake out boss fight that, as I recall, ends very quickly.
I see. Have either of them been in anything we've read?
Brutal? No, probably not. But Brutal was created by our good friend of the show, Chuck Dixon, Chuck D., and Scott McDaniel back in 1998, Nightwing Volume 2, number 22.
Wow.
Right. So he's a classic Nightwing villain.
Yeah, he, I guess, is an original Nightwing. So, yeah, that was I later sold it for a profit, mind you. I had Nightwing number 1 by Chuck Dixon, and I forget who the artist was for that first, but they had a good run together for about 25 issues or so.
Mm-hmm. And then we get a little fight scene here. I generally like the fight scenes throughout this, but I especially loved this one. We get a nice little like infographic panel thing with Nightwing taking his batons, putting them into a big old bow staff, throwing it at Robin. Just the style of those things, it looks like one of those safety posters up on the wall of like how to do it. It's a really nice style that I think works super well. And in general, the way he draws and like just lays out his action sequences, I think are really great. This one in particular looked excellent, where they kind of make the enemies use their powers against each other. And yeah, just really beautiful. Then there's
Bruno Redondo is a double Eisner Award winner for comic book artist, by the way.
Well, there you go.
Rightly so, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will say, and I like this a lot. It is a little bit of like, the Hawkeye series from 10 years earlier. It's taking a lot of cues from that.
Right.
It is in terms of the style and everything, but I think the art is still his own,
Even the like infographics thing, like that was in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Fair. You're right.
But I also just love this, like the coloring of this kind of stuff. The very much just like not shaded art. Like I think that's a thing that I just really like in art.
Yeah, like I feel like the Hawkeye art style was like a little bit different from it stands out differently in this comic.
His actual style doesn't look that similar, but I just mean in sort of like what the art is accomplishing in the fight scenes is very similar.
And the irreverence and everything, like it's
Yeah.
If you like Hawkeye, you might like this.
Yes.
I'm finding out 30 minutes.
I mean, it's got a dog. It's stealing a few cues from Hawkeye. Let's put a dog in there.
Wait
it's
a
got
minute.
dogs.
This book's a ripoff.
Pizza plus dogs equals Eisner Award winner. We've got this.
That's really
in the
it.
bag.
Yeah.
Captain America, Hawkeye sort of Captain America's Dick Grayson.
Wait,
so
here's how we write an Eisner Award winning comic book. We got to have a hero that nobody really likes and respects, living in a rundown apartment building that he kind of owns. He's got a dog, It's got pizza involved, and he's helping people on the street. All right.
Yep, he's fighting mobsters.
Yep. Nailed it. Eisner Award winner. Here we come.
Yep. You win an Eisner for this.
Now we just need to be good artists. Okay, cool. We can figure this out.
Get ready for my Eisner Award winning book on Speedball as he fights cocaine dealers, because his name.
Oh.
I'm gonna do a robot twist. I'm gonna do Machine Man on the robot streets with a robo dog and robo.
Oh, so he's in like a robot city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Gonna win Robo Eisners. All right, on to part 4, issue 81. The new mayor, Melinda Zuko, is getting sworn in. I love it. In terms of the overtness of the corruption, this is my favorite scene. She's getting sworn in and, immediately afterwards goes to have drinks with Blockbuster and Maroney to have,
she just walks in another room, out of the press conference room into, a mob room.
And it's, out of the... the press conference room is the official swearing in, but it's not the official swearing in. The official swearing in is with the mobsters, where they bring her a suitcase full of money, and she's like, I don't really use cash though. And they're like, no problem, we can just put it in your account. The commissioner is like, but it just kind of lacks ceremony to do it like that.
Is the commissioner the one that printed out all the spreadsheets and put them in the briefcase?
Yes, he loves briefcases. I think that's maybe his thing. He just loves carrying a briefcase and showing something with it. He's big on that.
He needs a physical object.
Yeah. It's his favorite prop.
His poor secretary, printing stuff all day.
It's not the worst. It's not the hardest thing to do.
I know, but I'm sure that's on top of everything else.
She's keeping FedEx Kinkos in line in business in Bloodhaven, single-handedly.
So they meet with the mobsters, and she's like, hey, my plan is to extend your power and your reach, Blockbuster, to beyond the city, all the hard work you've already done to create a foothold here. We're just going to make it bigger and better. And all the mobsters are like, yeah, hooray. But back at the homeless encampment here, I don't think we actually said the very end of the last issue. Sorry, we jumped into the next issue. I forgot to mention that a fire started at the homeless encampment, and it wasn't the bad guys doing it. It was Heartless.
I was say it was a bad guy.
It wasn't the goons that they were just beating up. Yeah.
Yes.
But there's a big old fight, and the Heartless man is there, and they just start calling him Heartless. But back at that scene, there's Oracle can't even see what's going on because Heartless has this blinding infrared light coming out of him. And the Heartless guy clears out some of the fire so that the kids can run away. And Nightwing's like, what? And he's like, hey, I don't want to kill them. I just want to watch them run. All right. And they fight, and this guy is pretty good. He's powered up somehow. He catches one of Dick Grayson's nightsticks. They fight for a little bit, and Nightwing's like, yeah, this guy is pretty tough, but he's kind of making Heartless angry. Heartless decides to bounce. He's going to explode the pier, put all the kids in danger. So Robin and all the kids and this dog are just standing on the edge of a burning pier now because they were escaping the fire, and they're in a worse situation. But Oracle calls up a ton of ships as an SOS, and they all head over to help. Nightwing, in the middle of this fight, seems to have suffered a concussion, and he passes out. And he wakes up at home. Oracle and Robin are there caring for him. They've decided they're going to name the dog Bitewing. It's a pretty good name.
Hell yeah.
Bitewing. Dick has decided he's going to call the dog Haley. And it's okay. The dog can have 2 names. They all have 2 names. Barbara says she has 3 names. What are her 3 names? Oh, yeah.
Babs,
Oracle, Batgirl. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking Babs as well. Barbara, Babs, and Oracle, but Batgirl's in there too.
Yeah, I don't think nicknames count.
I think they count. Babs is different enough from Barbara that I think.
What is Commissioner Gordon? Commissioner Gordon doesn't call it. Well, she might call him Babs. I don't know.
Yeah. Commish. That's another name.
So Bitewing was not in the Crypt of the Superdog movie. I know that, but there's always room for a sequel.
Yeah, wait, save it for the sequel.
I don't know if ever said the names Bitewing or Haley throughout the rest of this comic again here, but it's okay. So they've also done some research. They give Dick a rundown on Melinda Zuko. They said she was not raised by her father, Tony Zuko, who killed Dick Grayson's parents. And he's like, oh, okay, that's great. Instead, she was raised by the Maroney crime family, which is way worse. She has a file with the FBI that is heavily redacted. Nightwing's like, oh, shit, that can't be good.
I do appreciate this, because when I read this the first time, I was like, there's a very obvious other reason.
Yeah.
Nightwing. It could be that she's not bad.
Yeah.
Could be she's like a witness or something, or like a CI or something.
Yeah, an informant, or otherwise working with the FBI, or she could just be like a regular citizen that they just have a file on.
It's also possible.
Not that they would ever be such a thing.
Who knows? But Nightwing wants to go out and do investigation stuff, but he's just had a concussion. They make him rest. Later at night, he sneaks out anyways, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to be doing anything crazy fighting. I'm just going to do some espionage, sneak in. I'll be fine.
I think Dick also, they kind of hint at before this run, he may have been brainwashed or something prior to this run. So I think there's stuff messed up with his head anyways.
He had been again, you don't need to know this. He references it in the first issue. He had lost his memory and was brainwashed by the Joker before this.
So I only did that by that in is like, dude, you really can't have head injuries. Like this is like a thing like you're susceptible to them. Like you really need to be careful. Like that's the extent of what it's needed for.
Mm-hmm.
He gets into Melinda Zuko's apartment, sneaks into her window. That bald guard lady is there waiting for him though. And she's not enhanced. She's just a regular person, but she's very good and kind of pushes Nightwing down the stairs because he's at low strength. And Melinda Zuko is waiting for him down there, hits him with a bat. He wakes up tied up, maskless. Dick Grayson does a lot of waking up in this comic, I think. But Zuko IDs him as Dick Grayson. She didn't know Nightwing was Dick Grayson. But Dick's like, he busts out of his ties, like, you're Zuko's daughter, killed my parents, blah, blah, blah. And she says, no, she is not Tony Zuko's daughter. She learned the truth a little while ago. Her real father was John Grayson, and they're siblings. What? That's a good cliffhanger. I didn't see that coming. But yeah, straight into the next issue here, part 5, issue 82. Melinda says that her dad didn't even know that she existed. And first thing Dick does is like he grabs his mask back from Melinda, puts it on, talks to Oracle, says, hey, tell everybody to stand down. I'm sure there's people coming out to save me. And we do see the Teen Titans like flying out, being told to stand down. I'm glad they had a little appearance in this book here. Nice to see them. But Melinda says, somebody else would be better to explain the story. She's upstairs. You should get changed so you can protect your secret identity unless you want to give it out to more people right now. And they go upstairs and they meet Melinda's mom, who is Mei Lee Lin. And she's so happy to see Dick Grayson. She says, oh, you look so much like your father. And you have your mother's eyes too. And it's like, okay, what is this? Or not. Yeah. So she was 23 when she came to this country. We got a whole big old flashback about her life here. She's 23 and she was brought over as like a, what do you call it? Like a paid bride kind of thing for Tony Zuko, where he just like owned her as a possession. He was violent, etc. She hated it. One night they went out to the circus and she ran away. And hid in the Graysons' like trailer, and Zuko was running around looking for her. Had a big old fight with the Graysons. John Grayson's out there. He's like questioning him. He's like, "Where's my wife?" He's like, "What are you talking about, dude? I don't know your wife." Puts a gun up to John's head out of nowhere, and he was like, "What the fuck?" But John Grayson and what's her name, Mary Grayson, who are really great acrobats. They beat up Tony Zuko and tell him to get away. And the Mr. Haley, the owner of the circus, comes up as well. And Tony Zuko's like, I'm just trying to find my wife that ran away. And they're like, yeah, I wonder why she ran away from you.
We're all to believe this is like 1993?
I guess so. And
you remember it would make more sense if this was at a Six Flags.
Like Astro World that doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. But they give this guy a consolation stuffed bear to take with him. And then Mr. Haley was like, she's in your trailer, right? And he's like, yeah. we're taking care of it.
You know what? The circus
So she-
very protective of abused spouses and partners. Good job.
Sure.
Yeah. They'll take all runaways. And, she kind of joins the circus. And John and Mary were both so kind to her. They were not a couple yet at this point, though. They were just acrobat partners.
So what's the act called?
Yeah, why are they called the Graysons? She's not
He's got
Mary
a big
Grayson
ass
yet.
G on his unitard.
Yeah,
not
so
the
she's
Graysons.
like-
And
It's
so
John Grayson and Mary something or other.
Something or other.
So I guess they're like figure skating partners. They're not dating yet, so like of course he can like have he can date around until they realize they're really in love with each other, but not before he got Malin pregnant, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah,
This
they
is
hung
so-
out for a little
Okay.
bit. It's a little retconny, for
little?
sure.
A little bit. A
little.
little bit.
A little bit.
Dick Grayson, a character we've known for 90 years, has a secret sister. It's a little retconny.
A little retconny.
And I do appreciate that, like, don't worry, they didn't cuckold your dead father.
Right, exactly.
Your dad is not a cheater. Your dad is not like they weren't in a throuple, which would be fine. But it's just like no, he dated around before he married your mom and he got me pregnant. Okay, well, fine, sure.
Yes.
It's
And
It's
then, I
a
guess-
very, but they were always in love with each other. So
Yeah, they took Zuko found her and took her back, so that's why he didn't know that she had a child with.
Yes. She they were together for long enough to get pregnant, and then they found her and took her back. They left that consolation bear in her place, which is pretty
So,
cool.
and again, I don't want to rush to final thoughts or anything, but this completely recontextualizes. Tony Zuko appears in whatever Batman issue in 1946 or whatever as like a blackmailer who is like, it'd be a shame if something happened to your circus. But this posits that he has a specific hatred against this circus and
He's got a
these
grudge.
acrobats.
Yeah, he hates the Graysons. So and I do really like this touch where they kidnapped her back, and then Melinda was born 6 months later, and so Tony knew the truth, but his ego would never let him voice it. But he was just like kind of always angry about it, and like I get that, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like what Tony Zuko would do. And I don't mind this retcon very much at all.
I'm okay with giving Tony Zuko like weirdly. Maybe because I just don't give a shit enough about Dick Grayson. To be like, sure, he now has an extra motive than just wanting to like kill circus performers. Sure, like that's fine because Tony Zuko really does appear in like the first appearance of Dick Grayson way back. I'm looking at Detective Number 38, April 1940. Is the first appearance of Tony Zuko.
So yeah, I'm sure he's
why he was there.
I'm sure he's just a mustachioed man who's just like evil,
Mm-hmm.
Evil Italian.
So 6 years after.
Oh, and it
her
was
father-
Haley's Circus. That's where the name Haley
Yes.
comes from with the dog.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that. Great. So they ran away again 6 years later, and Zuko just didn't bother looking for them again, apparently. But Malin took Melinda to see the circus. Apparently, they didn't go to see the circus. They just like walked in on a practice, I think. But she saw Dick up there for the first time, and the whole family looked so happy. She didn't want to mess that up, so she left. She kind of planned to come back again, but the Graysons were killed first, so she kind of never had a chance to. She's so glad that they could all meet. She's so proud of her daughter becoming the mayor. All that good stuff. On their way out, Dick is talking to Melinda. She's like, your mom does not know the truth about you and all the evil shit you're doing as mayor. And Melinda's like, hold on, neither do you. You don't know the truth about me either. And then, there's helicopters outside. It's Blockbuster and the cops.
She didn't call off whoever she was supposed to call off.
Yeah. And I really like that issue. It was just like a big old flashback, but like a good fifth issue in an arc to be like, just explain everything, and now we're going to finish the story,
And did Redondo do the art for that? I think he did. It was just like colored in an old-timey way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the inking maybe looks a little bit thicker, like definitely more shadows and stuff throughout. throughout it, but has a little bit of an old-timey style to it. Yeah, it looks very different, but very nice. On to issue 6. I love this cover, especially with Nightwing running downstairs, switching costumes.
Sorry, it may be different because it says Bruno Redondo, Rick Leonardi, and Neil Edwards pencils.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give page numbers, which usually they do.
I see.
So.
Okay, that makes sense that it's a different artist then, because it does look different enough. But yeah, this cover with Nightwing running downstairs, switching costumes as fast as he can to go stand in front of a podium as Dick Grayson, almost forgetting to take off his mask at the last minute. It's such a nice little touch. I love this cover. So we are into the last issue here. Commissioner McLean is outside with the rest of the cops saying, come out with your hands on your heads, etc. And Blockbuster tells him, give him 2 minutes before I get in there. Melinda is like, all right, no matter what happens here, you're going to need to know the truth. I am not evil. I am working to bring down crime bosses from the inside. I've already taken down 2 crime bosses. Dick is analyzing her body language and is like, I think she's telling the truth, or she's a really good liar. Right now, as far as everyone outside thinks, a superhero has broken into the mayor's home. That's all they know. So they're going to use that to their advantage. So when Blockbuster does bust into the room, he finds Melinda and that bodyguard. Did that bodyguard ever get a name? I don't remember seeing a name for her. But they are both tied up. And they're like, he went out the window. He's on the roof. So Blockbuster goes up to the roof to fight Dick Grayson. What was this plan? This was not a great plan. It was just like, because all of a sudden Dick's like, oh shit, Blockbuster's here. What am I going to do? Like, you didn't really think this through. Like, just tie them up and that's it. All right. But Blockbuster comes up to fight him. Dick is like, I cannot handle a one-on-one fight right now. I'm still beaten. Like, I still have this concussion I'm dealing with. I've just been hit by a baseball bat, etc. So he rappels up to a helicopter, hangs the thugs down from it. The pilot's like, just take the keys, man. You're good. You can take it. And he heads home and he passes out. He wakes up, another wake up. And Tim is out patrolling looking for the Heartless. Dick is now just kind of done with this little adventure with Blockbuster for now. He's going to now kind of spend the rest of this issue mostly focusing on this money thing he's got and deciding how to use it. So he goes around meeting with a bunch of people, kind of talking about how to use his money. He tells Superman his idea. They have a nice long chat. He didn't want to tell Bruce. He was like, yeah, Bruce would just talk him out of it. And Superman's like, yeah, plus Bruce would do anything to avoid a conversation. So it's good that you came to me instead. And Superman loves the idea. We still haven't heard the idea yet, but Superman loves it. He says it's a small but focused idea. It'll spread more positivity throughout the world. And then he tells Dick, he's like, hey, I might have to go away for a while. But can you give my son John some guidance and friendship while you're gone? Cool, thanks. Where's Superman going here? Do we know?
I don't know. I'm not paying attention to it.
It's a side other thing where now
his now son who's older than Damian. I don't know how this happened.
It's Super Sons or some
Super Son.
shit I think is what actually is supposed to be a pretty fun book is what I've heard.
I've heard it's fine.
Yeah, like World's Finest, but with Damian Wayne and Superman's kid. I don't know. I'm really plugged out. I read this on DC Universe. Every single issue has an ad for a different Joker book. In every issue.
It is crazy.
But there have to be like 5 different Joker limited series over the course of these 6 issues.
Wow.
Like, it's kind of maddening. Which I guess maybe Joker sells money, so good for him. But
he's popular. Yep.
Joker sells money. He's out of his mind.
Joker burns money. He runs.
Yeah.
I saw that in Dark Knight 16 years ago.
He only burns his half. He has a code.
All right, so Dick Grayson is getting ready for his big press conference to announce his thing. He thanks Babs for all her support and everything. She gives him a big old smooch. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that the sex you're talking about? Is that sex when people?
Yeah, that's right. That's
also when he was concussed and passed out, they had sex.
Yeah. I see.
Whoa! I don't like that.
All right, so he makes his big announcement that he is going to give his money away and establish one of the world's largest self-sustaining, purely philanthropic foundations. He's putting the bulk of this wealth directly into Bloodhaven to save the homeless population, and he's calling it the Alfred Pennyworth Foundation. What a guy. And the group chat goes crazy complimenting him. Jason Todd says, "Hey, don't forget you owe me $20 before you give all that money away."
What did Cassandra Cain put in there? She put in a bunch of like party poppers.
Ton of emojis.
There's Cassandra Cain mute, but apparently communicates through emojis.
Yeah. She got some champagne. I don't know what the little red dot thingy is, though. I'm not that cool.
If you're mute, does that mean you're not allowed to use words in text either?
It's a rule. It's a rule.
You gotta use
Geneva
emoji.
Convention.
Wow,
part of the ADA actually. They're like,
yeah.
It's kind of
it's because she mostly communicates through expressions. So it's like, well, I want to communicate through expressions in text form.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
So that's all's good there. And then and then Batman calls Dick Grayson. And he doesn't usually call, but he's like, "Hey, thanks for honoring Alfred." And he's looking at a little picture of Bruce and Alfred, or is that Dick and Alfred? Who is?
It's hard to tell.
But also, I don't know why. I love the idea that Batman has a smartphone because he's clearly got a smartphone that he talks on. Like who's got the plan? Does he have like a T-Mobile plan?
I wonder why Batman doesn't have one of those digital picture frames. I feel like he would be all about that.
I mean, Alfred probably put this photo together. Bruce didn't do it.
They printed out a selfie.
Again, all of this took place in 2001, whenever Dick and Alfred are posing for this picture.
Yep, for sure. But that's it for the first arc here.
Except the ending scene of Heartless being like, "I'll have to take Dick Grayson's heart."
And he's got a big old room with shelves just full of hearts and jars. He's
not heartless. Creepy. He's got a fuck ton of hearts. He's got more hearts than anybody.
What does he need more for? Who is this guy? Why does he need all these hearts?
What is he trying to get, a heart monopoly? Get out of here.
Yep. Yeah, then he can charge double if he's got a monopoly.
Yeah, that's right. Every time you use a heart.
And that was the book. I enjoyed it. What did y'all think? Vince, let's start with you.
I don't feel like much happened, but at the same time, like, I really like the vibe of it. I want to read more. We used to have that question, like, would you read more of this? I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to dig more into this. It was a really like easy breezy read. It reminded me a lot of like that Catwoman we read a few episodes ago by Brubaker and like Darwin Cook. Who else was on that art? I can't remember. It was Darwin Cook, the artist. Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of got like a nice like Bat Family book. It's not Batman. It's got kind of like a how do I make myself in this world kind of vibe. I like it. I really do. I can see why it's winning like best ongoing because it's nice. It feels like a Daredevil comic half the time also, which I'm kind of into. So I'm into it.
Yeah. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is. I'm an old fogey now, and I read big two books mostly, and I see the previews in this book for what DC's doing, and I'm just like, bleh. But this is like a good reminder that it's like, yeah, you don't have to like reinvent the wheel. Like you can. There's some clever nods to continuity. Like, he talks to Superman as a super nerd. I'm like, oh, well, actually, the Nightwing persona was inspired by Superman. But like, nobody says that. You don't have to know that. It's just like, oh, yeah, these characters have a connection. Dick Grayson knows Superman. You don't have to like explain in an editor's note. You can just do it. And in the same way, when it sort of waves away, like, Barbara Gordon's spine stuff or his being an amnesic cab driver stuff. It's just like, yeah, all that happened. We're just not going to talk about it, It's just this was an embarrassing thing that happened. So I do like that writing. I think the action is really well done, which is again like one of the things that modern comics have gotten much, much worse at than old comics is like telling compelling action. So yeah, this is like really good action where it's dynamic, where we understand what's going on in space and what the stakes are. It doesn't just feel like, characters clubbing each other or powering up variously. Like Dick is a very fun character because he's not Batman. You do feel like he can be like overpowered by, just some random goons if he's not careful. Whereas with Batman, you're like, come on, Batman. Like you're You're in the Justice League.
Yeah, we saw you after you got your back broken, and you still were able to beat a whole thing of goons in Nightfall. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I agree with both of y'all. It's just a really solid book that feels like it kind of just fires on all cylinders, even if, as you said, it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It just kind of does what it does really well. Everything, like every scene is in there. It has like good intention with every scene, a good flow with all of it. It's just an enjoyable read.
Yeah. Well, we talked about like with the Captain America Brubaker run, like how it did a good job of like establishing like the supporting cast. Like Barbara's there, and then like Tim is there. Like he can plug in like a different Bat family member for like a few issues. Like Tim like showing up to help him out for a few issues. Like it's built well, and then like the new cast of like Melinda Zuko like working another thing like. It's like, oh, there's like a lot of angles here that we can like play on. I'm enjoying it. It set itself up well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did y'all? I was looking through the trade. Did y'all see the variant cover art gallery in the back?
No.
I was looking through these, and one of these caught me so off guard that I feel like I have to mention it. It's the cover for Nightwing 81. Just look up like Nightwing 81 variant. It's the one by Raphael Grassetti. With it's like Nightwing perched up on some gargoyles or something, and it's got such a 3D CGI look that is off-putting to me, and I also kind of love it. I don't know how else to describe it, but it is.
Yeah, I see that. It's got like there was that artist that did like the Venom and like Toxin arc, the Venom Carnage.
Oh,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah. To me. I don't know. It feels like somebody posed an action figure and took a picture of it, but also it's like too detailed to be an action figure. And yeah, it's like I love it and I hate it. I don't know how I feel about this cover, so I just felt like I had to mention it. That's all.
Yeah, my favorite. I know we talked about how good the covers are, but my favorite is 79, the one where it's the row of like from Robin to all of his Nightwing personas, and then Batgirl is at the top of the window or whatever, sticking her head out. Like that's great.
Yeah, and Alfred's at the bottom, kind of holding Robin's cape there.
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. But yeah, I think that's it for Nightwing. Maybe one we'll come back to in a little bit. Because, like we said, it just won Best Ongoing Series. It's 3 or 4 arcs in. How far?
Only 20-something issue. I could probably read it like in a couple of days, pretty easily.
Yeah.
I might do that.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, these are very fast reads, so that's also a positive.
But right now, I think it is time for us to move on to Knightfall. We are on Chapter 18. Next time is Chapter 19. It's the last one, but right now, Chapter 18, Detective Comics 666. It's called The Devil You Know. Ooh, good name.
Because I read Batman 666, which was like Damian Wayne in the Future by Grant Morrison. But this is Detective 66 by, hey, friend of the show, Chuck D.
Chucky D. So Jean-Paul Batman goes to talk to Commissioner Gordon, looking for info from Bane's Stooges. In the last issue, he had beaten up Bane's Stooges. The cops took them away. And Commissioner Gordon's like, hey, my detectives have been cleaning up after you. But he's like, yeah, we haven't gotten the goons to talk yet. You know, they're just not breaking. He keeps talking for a while. And then Commissioner Gordon turns around and he's like, what? What the hell? And he's shocked that Batman is still there because he usually just like turns around and he's gone. I did love that a lot. Jean-Paul is a different Batman.
I do love, Jean-Paul is like, well, you were still talking. I thought it would be rude to just leave.
I cannot handle his big giant fucking glove though.
Yeah, I feel like Commissioner Gordon would notice that and say something. I don't know.
It's bigger than his fucking head.
Yeah.
Well, he'll say something next issue when he's got a robot body.
Spoiler alert. We don't know what's going on. I don't know what's about to happen.
I don't know. There's robots coming up. All right. So we go to the cops. We have Bane's goons are being questioned. We've got Zombie, the bald guy, in there. Of course, he says nothing. He'd rather rot in prison than give up Bane. And he's been in the worst prisons in the world. This is going to be nothing.
He's like, your American prisons are whatever.
Yeah. And I think Harvey Bullock also kind of agrees with him. Like, yeah, it's basically a country club. But they send him back to the holding cells with Bird and Trog. And then they're kind of talking for a little bit. Like, you think Bane's gonna break us out? And they're like, hey, who knows? Bane will do whatever he's gonna do. It'll be fine. And then they get a bag that gets dropped into Bird's cell with a note signed from B saying, hey, watch and wait. And there's gas masks in there.
This is such a bitchy thing because, like, obviously it becomes very clearly, like, this is not Bane breaking him out. It's Batman, Chapel Valley, as, like a setup. But also, like, he didn't sign it Bane. He signed it B, which is, like, a little, like, just, like, very catty, like, you thought it was Bane, but it's not.
It's actually
like, you could have just written Bane. Like, what the fuck? Like,
I didn't forge Bane's signature.
You also, honestly, you didn't have to sign it at all. You just drop a thing of gas masks in there. I think they're going to know what to do. But a thing of, like, gas busts into the room and all the guards are choking and blinded.
Meet at our secret crime hideout. Love B.
But
it's the boss, all right.
That's just like him. That's the way he draws his hearts. But they escape, and Batman, of course, is watching. And then we see Tim Drake. He is eating with that nice lady who lives in his dad's complex.
Tim loves wearing that red polo with that red rugby shirt with the white stripes.
Yeah. He makes up a story. They're like, oh yeah, my dad went to some clinic getaway thing that Dr. Kinsolving set up for him. By the way, has Bruce called at all? And he's like, nope.
They all fucking left with a note. It's what
everyone left with
it's
a
the
note.
90s. I guess this is what happens.
Yeah.
I leave a note in the Batcave.
Yep. So the goons head back to Bane's place, and they're like, Bane, your plan was brilliantly executed. Thanks a lot, Bane. You did great. And they're like, what the fuck are y'all idiots talking about?
I love like casual Bane in this moment. He's got like his little like brandy or whatever.
And then, of course, Batman busts through the window. He takes out the goons really quickly, then fights Bane. Bane knows it's not the real Batman, and they have kind of a nice long chat about that. And Bane's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill you, just like I killed that guy." And at the end of it, Bane has Batman hanging from a painter's scaffolding. And is that the end of that issue? Is that my last note there? Yeah, that's it. Cliffhanger.
He like stabbed him with a battering or something.
Literally hanging. Yeah.
Literally hanging.
Upside down. So it's not a noose. He's hanging by his leg.
He's
from a leg.
If he falls, he's just gonna like, I don't know, bonk his head.
Yeah.
Concussion. Dick Grayson can survive that though. We've learned.
Yeah. But that's it. That was
this is the 90s too, Vince. So concussion's not as bad.
Concussions are fine. Like, don't even worry. You can walk it off. It's fine.
Yeah. Go to work tomorrow.
I had 2 in the 90s. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Go take a nap. It's great.
I only had one.
That's bad advice, by the way.
Not great.
Don't take a nap after getting a concussion.
Yeah. But that's it. Again, I feel like not a ton happened in that issue. It was really just Batman got the goons out of prison, led them back to Bane. Nice long fight scene. We'll see what happens next.
A good joke with Jim Gordon.
Yeah. I loved that. I love this issue just for casual Bane, where he's just like, you fools.
Yeah, the casual Bane, Jim Gordon's joke. Great stuff.
I wish he had like a newspaper rolled up to like whomp him with on the head.
But next time.
That'd be hilarious.
Next time we are going.
Three Stooges Bane.
We're gonna finish off Knightfall next time. It is chapter.
This is a 58-page issue. Shit.
It's 58 pages. All right. Well, this works out in our favor. So next time we are reading. Yeah, it's a big old issue. 58. Really? Is that 3? That's triple sized. Holy shit. But Batman 500. You got to do triple size for.
Yeah,
number
I just looked
500.
open. It was like part 1. I'm like, oh fuck. Okay, this is probably long.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
And then I think I think technically Knightfall continues into 2 more parts after that, but the first part, The Broken Bat, ends next time, and I think we're calling it there. We'll pick a new long read next time.
Yeah, we're not doing Knight's Quest right now.
Is that what the next one is? Yeah.
I think that's what the next like 6 months or whatever of stories is called. Is the Knight Quest?
We're doing
Bruce
who knows?
Wayne
Murderer than Bruce Wayne. No, we're not.
I don't know if we're ever going to get to that. We'll see. Who knows? But our main read next time is going to be a Fantastic Four story, which is only 3 issues. So I think that'll even out a little bit, even though one of them is double-sized. We've got a lot of
Chris
super
told
sized.
us, so did we say the numbers yet?
So it is Fantastic Four 350 to 352 from 1991. It is a time travel story written and drawn by Walt Simonson. And yeah, Chris's recommendation was you have to read it twice because it won't make sense the first time because there's a lot of time travel shenanigans.
Not the whole thing, but you'll see which issue you have to read more than once.
Okay. One issue will not make sense, and that's the one to reread. Okay.
Yes. Is it the double-size issue? Because I don't want to have to read that one twice.
I don't remember.
Okay,
maybe.
We'll see. So we got a triple-size issue, a double-size issue, 2 single-size issues. We're gonna read some of them twice, and that's what we're doing next time.
Fantastic Four 350 to 352. Walt Simonson writing an artist,
and then Batman 500. Yep. What else do we got going on, Chris? How is the Your Stupid Minds podcast doing?
Your Stupid Minds took a week off while we had a month and a half ago. I was on vacation. This time Nick was on vacation, so there's been no new episodes since the last episode of this. But we will have a new episode coming the week after this episode drops. We don't know what it is yet, though, so I can't promote it.
Got it.
Recent episode was the Care Bears movie.
Yes. Go back and listen to that one if you want to listen to me lose my mind at how bad a film could be.
Vince, how about you?
Nothing's going on. Just kind of hanging out.
You said you got some new video games?
I do. I bought a PlayStation 5.
Whoa, welcome
the Spider-Man
to the club.
video game, which comes out in October, but it's on sale this week for $50 off. I don't know if it'll be sale in October. This is my deal of the week. Buy a PlayStation 5. Apparently is PlayStation 4 completely backwards compatible, so all your PS4 games will work on it. And I got the Ratchet and Clank game, which I haven't had a chance to start yet, but I'm very excited for that because I love Insomniac Games, who also make the Spider-Man game. So Insomniac Games, owned by Sony, one of the biggest companies in the world. Check them out. They need the help.
They need the help. I'll plug another little company that needs some help. Marvel, if you ever heard of them. I picked up a new Marvel board game recently. Marvel, not too new. Marvel United. It's been out a couple of years, I think. But it's a cooperative board game. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but it's one of these games that comes with a bunch of heroes, comes with a bunch of villains. You just kind of pick whoever you want to go up against, and it's kind of a modular co-op thing.
Cool.
It looks pretty neat. The set on Amazon comes with the Spider-Man expansion as well for like $17. I was like, how can I not try this?
Have you tried like Marvel Snap at all or anything like that?
I have tried Marvel Snap. I wasn't into it. I know a lot of people really, really like it. It's a very, very simple kind of game that's maybe a little bit too simple for what I'm looking for. But if you want kind of a quick and easy Marvel game, a lot of people really love it. Kind of a base control.
This is really cheap, though. Sorry, I'm just changing subjects again.
It's and it's gotten a lot of love. It's one of these things as well where they make their money off of more expansions. Of like, hey, you want to play as these heroes? Pick up the new expansion. You want X-Men heroes? You want these heroes? You want those heroes? What do you want to play as? And I think some of the boxes are standalone as well. If you want to like get an X-Men box or something.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited to give that a whirl. Well, that's all that I've got going on. I think, is that the end of the show? What else do we usually do? I forgot.
We usually say one of us loves each other, and then Chris will then come up with a thing that's a callback to an earlier part in the episode where he says he doesn't love you.
That doesn't usually happen, does it?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. All right. Well, Vince, I love you.
I love you too, bud.
Chris, I love you.
Hey, who's that at the door? Oh, hi, Heartless. Oh, no.
Oh, shit. He can't love you because he has no heart.
Oh, no. Also, he's dead. That's another reason he can't love me. Oh, no.
No.
Wow. That sucks for Chris that he died. Someone at the door. Shouldn't answer your door during a podcast.
No,
honestly.
you shouldn't.
I would just not do that. Well, listener, if you've been listening to this, I hope you did not answer your door. I hope you listened to this all the way through with no interruptions, sitting there staring at a blank screen while you listen to our voices. That's the only way to listen to it. But we love you. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.
What if this is how we wrote Chris out of the show? All right, take care, y'all.